Hey guys, welcome. Oh, excuse me. To Trashy, stupid fun. Okay, I have several. I should have done this earlier, but I have several movies to talk about. Most of them are horror movies. And that's what I seem to want to talk about on here is horror movies, because they're the trashiest. I mean, a lot of the ones are really just trashy and bad. Yeah, the first one I want to talk. I have several. But yeah. Most of which are horror movies, and some of them are just horrors on their own. Um, the first movie I want to talk about is Super Shark, which is a is a Sci-Fi Channel movie, and yeah, it was. Fun. It's just one of those movies that's fun for all the wrong reasons. It's one of the things that's funny about it is that it stars John Schneider, who's who's most recently famous for being Superman's or Clark Kent's dad on Smallville. Because I never watched Dukes of Hazzard, so I don't associate him with that. But anyways, and he plays a rich oil tycoon dude, and he wants to drill for oil, and in doing so he releases this prehistoric shark or something. It's a super shark, and it can walk on land. It can fly. Apparently, it can. Oh my god, it's bad. This was a bad movie, but it was funny and stupid. I liked it. It was a stupid movie, but you had oh god, you had some great stuff in it. First of all, you also had J.J. Walker was in it as a DJ, and I kept thinking he was gonna get eaten by a shark because all these really D-list celebrities come on these movies just to get eaten by a shark. Or whatever the monster of the week is, or monster of the movie is, and that didn't happen. So he was kind of annoying because he kept saying dynamite every scene he was in, and yeah. And then he also the great thing about this movie is the starting and the ending is as a walking tank that tries to attack the shark and it blows the thing up. Well, actually, okay, I'm sorry, I'm spoiling the whole movie, but I don't think you care. But yeah. And then the next movie I watched, not right after, I had movies in between I don't really want to talk about because they're just not the kind of thing I talk about in here. The next movie I watched was Occupant, and it was alright. It's just, it was a kind of a haunted house thing, but it was just one. It focused on one guy played by Van Hansis. If you're a soap opera fan, he was on As the World Turns, and that's pretty much where I was introduced to him and his acting and everything. And I mostly watched it for him, and it was just interesting to see him play something very different from that show. And just even though I saw somebody compare it to The Shining, and yeah, it's kind of like that because he just slowly loses his mind, and yeah, it was just very bizarre. It's interesting. It was very atmospheric and everything, but it was just okay. I think I would recommend Super Shark before I recommend. Well, I would recommend Occupant to fans of him, fans of Van, but it was just okay. It was just okay. I liked parts of it, but mostly it was average. And the ending I didn't totally see it coming, but I guess that was the only way it could end, I guess. Okay, another movie I want to talk about, which is it's a cult film. And even though when I looked it up online, it had really low rating, really not, very mixed reviews, mostly panning the movie, and that's Jawbreaker from 1999. And I liked it because it was a lot like Heathers and Mean Girls. Even though this predates Mean Girls, but it was a lot like Clueless and Heathers. And I don't know, I just really liked it because it was really dark. The main plot of the movie is these girls every year for their friend's birthday, they pull a big prank on them. And so this year they kidnap their friend and gag her with a jawbreaker. And when they put her in a trunk, and in transport, she dies. She choked on the jawbreaker, and it's just a, it's them trying to cover it up, and and in the process they make the shy geeky girl one of them, the popular girl, and it's just, I liked it overall because it was dark. It was a really dark, like Heathers, but really, they had the kind of the dumb teenage girl thing going on too. But I liked it. It's it's not, maybe, I mean, it's definitely one I mean, I don't know. If I find it cheap enough, I may or may not buy it. But I liked it. I don't know. I think it's kind of an underappreciated cult film. I mean, I think it has a cult following of some sort. I don't know. I made a post about it on Tumblr. Some people seem to like it, so it has a following of some sort. Yeah. Another cult film I watched recently for the very first time. I mean, these are all movies I've watched for the very first time a lot of the time. Even though some of these I do need to do I do need to do an episode or two of movies I need to revisit. So I'd like to do another childhood episode, revisiting something I love. But anyways, I recently saw Blade Runner for the very first time, and the version I saw was the final cut, which apparently has enhanced effects and everything. Because I could tell it was in high definition or something. It was really. I really liked it. And if you're not familiar with Blade Runner, it's about a guy who has to, he lives in a society where robots are not legal on Earth anymore or something, and he has to hunt them down and kill them, or, basically what they call retire. He retires these robots, or cyborgs, or whatever, or androids, or I guess is a better term for it. And yeah, it's just a really interesting movie. It's from Ridley Scott, who's famous for the Alien movies, and yeah, or for the first Alien at least, and Prometheus, which is kind of, I mean, I took it as an Alien film. I went into it as an Alien film, and yeah. But anyways, I really liked Blade Runner. It stars Harrison. Has a great cast. It has Harrison Ford, Daryl Hannah, Rutger Hauer. He's kind of. I mean, he's really creepy. He's really scary in this movie. It's just weird to see him go. I mean, because I've only seen him in certain things, and he's mostly. I mean, he's really good at playing a really over the top bad guy. I've mostly only seen him in stuff like Buffy the Vampire Slayer. That's the stuff. His performance of that is very over the top. I still need to see stuff like The Hitcher. Because I've seen Lady Hawk, and I didn't really care for that. I really wanted to like that, though, but the music kind of put me off, and I don't know. Yeah, anyway, back to Blade Runner. You have Daryl Hannah, Rutger Hauer, what's her name? Crazy lady who wanted to be Catwoman. I can't think of her name. She was in Ace Ventura too. I can't think of her name though. She was really good. I liked her. I liked her character. I loved the whole look of this movie. I love the giant adverts that they have on the. It's just this base. I don't know what it's for, but it's just this Chinese woman or Japanese woman eating something. I don't know what it was, but it was just, I like that. I like the the advertisement on the building that they play over and over again. I don't know. I just love the look of it. I love I think this is one of the first cyberpunk movies. I think, maybe not. I mean, I know it's a cyberpunk kind of neo-noir sort of thing, or I don't know. I read too much. I like reading about movies, so it's like I know certain genres that these things fall in. So I think it's a neo-noir, cyberpunk, science fiction movie. And yeah, and I'm just gonna spoil it just a little bit. There's kind of hints that Harrison Ford's character may or may not be a replicant or a android person. They just, they vaguely hint at it. It's not very clear, but it's like he could be. But, and he doesn't know it. Because some of them, they're designed that they don't know that they're cyborgs, but some of them do know, or I don't know. but the newer models don't know that they are. So he could be, but it's not really. It's not very clear. But I liked that it wasn't that clear. I mean, it was very vague. That I just knew going into it that he could have been, but I thought they were going to be a little more clear about it. But it's not. It's never very clear. But they kind of hint at it that he could be. And yeah, I liked it. Yeah. Moving on. Oh God. Oh no, I don't want to talk about that one. That's not really a movie. That's a music video type of thing. Oh, and I recently watched the movie Berserk. I love movies with crazy older women who are just, unhinged and everything, but Berserk was not really that kind of fun movie that I was hoping it would be. It stars Joan Crawford as the ringleader or whatever, or ringmaster of a circus, and people in her, the performers in her circus are slowly getting killed, and they all think it's her. Spoiler alert, it turns out to be her daughter. Her daughter comes to town. It's like, that I kind of saw that coming because I've seen, because I saw Straight Jacket. So I was kind of thinking, because this is kind of like Straight Jacket goes to the circus, is what I kept calling it. And this movie was just okay. It wasn't as fun as Straight Jacket or whatever happened to Baby Jane. But it was worth watching because I love that genre. But it just wasn't that good. It was just okay. It also starred Michael Gough, who played Alfred in, the first 4 Batman movies, and I like him. Even though a spoiler alert again, his character gets killed. But I'm going to spoil all of these movies because I don't know if you'll hunt these down. But if you like Joan Crawford in these bad movies, check it out just for the viewing because she has an epic bun in this movie. It's like, I don't know, it just puts the cinnamon bun things Princess Leia's to shame. It's just big and I don't know. It's epic. It's an epic bun. So I just kept giggling at it. It's just like, what is that? Because anyway. And last night I watched, before going to bed last night, and whatever. I didn't get much sleep last night, but anyways. Last night I also watched the original The Wicker Man, and it was strange. I mean, I knew going in there it was going to be a different kind of movie, but I didn't know that it had nudity. I mean, a lot of movies from the 70s have nudity in them, but it's like, I was watching it with my mom. My mom was on the computer, and she kept turning around and going, "What are you watching?" And yeah, I kept watching because it was very strange, but it's like I like strange movies. So I was like, huh. And I like 70s horror movies. Even though this wasn't that scary. It was just, it's one of those movies where it's just, kind of a creepy mystery thing going on. Because this guy, it's about a cop who finds out that there's a missing girl on this island. So he comes to the island to look for her and finds that it's filled with Celtic pagans who are getting ready for May Day. And he just, he finds this all very weird because he's a devout Christian and he doesn't get what's going on. It's an interesting look at it's an interesting, I mean, I don't know, it's, I don't know, I find horror movies that touch on religion kind of, interesting because, I don't know, there's just something interesting about that. And so, he's just very put off by all this that's going on because, he sees them dancing naked. And at one point there's a woman singing naked, and I'm just like, what am I watching? Because this is like the strangest musical I've ever seen. It felt like a musical at times because people burst into song, but it's just their rituals. It's part of their ritual for the thing that they're getting ready for. And basically, just to skip ahead, the cop slowly finds out that this girl is not. He finds out that she may be dead, but they're not really. Nobody's cooperating with him, and he's just getting more and more frustrated. And then he slowly finds out that she's still alive, and they're going to prep her for a ritual sacrifice. And in the end, I'm just gonna, again, I'm spoiling the movie. In the end, he finds out that they tricked him into coming there because they needed a willing virgin or something, or, you know, they'll come there. And, yeah, and they wanted him to be their sacrifice. And so they put him in a big, you know, they have this big wicker effigy, or whatever you want to call it, and, you know, they put him, and they have a bunch of animals in there, and they're all going to set the whole thing on fire. And, I mean, wasn't scary for me, but, I mean, the thing that was supposed to be scary about the ending is that, you know, this guy, you know, who's, you know, this big Christian guy, you know, who, you know, he's praying to God to save him, and, you know, he doesn't, and he dies in that fire, and, you know, I mean, this is a very touchy subject. I'm just explaining the movie as I saw it, and what I've read everywhere, and what people told me, and that's basically what happened. And it's just, yeah, it was an interesting movie. But, you know, I mean, as interesting as it was, I liked the remake, but for all the wrong reasons. And I think I talked about the remake last year, or I wanted to. I wanted to do a whole episode of Nicolas Cage movies that I watched last year, because I watched a bunch, and they ranged from normal crazy to crazy crazy. I think I talked about that. I can't remember, because I wanted to talk about the Wicker Man, Face Off, and I just, you know, because I liked the remake to the Wicker Man, but for all the wrong reasons, because it was just hilarious, unintentionally hilarious, and it's just. Oh, because I kept saying, you know, when I was watching the original, it's like, when does he put on a bear suit and punch some poor woman? I mean, that was just awful. But it's just like, I was like waiting for that, but, you know, that's bad. I don't find that. That was just a really bad, bizarre movie, but I liked it for the wrong. It was just bad. I enjoyed the original, The Wicker Man, but it was just, I don't know. I really liked the creepy animal masks that they wore, and I really liked Christopher Lee, because he's just, I mean, that was a very different role for him, to go from Dracula, and all those Hammer movies, to go from those to this, just like, wow, you know, it's very interesting. Oh, that's pretty much it. Oh, no. Oh, one last thing. I wanted to try to do all the Nightmare, or the Friday the 13th movies in one big video, because I still have a bunch more to watch, but I'm just going to go ahead and talk about it right now. I watched Friday the 13th, Part 7, for the first time this week, and I loved it. It was great, and it was very ridiculous. Because basically, it was Carrie White, you know, Carrie, the movie Carrie, versus Jason, and it was just, it's what it sounds like, you know, she's a psychic girl, you know, who has telekinesis, who has telekinetic powers, and that's basically it, you know, and it was awesome. Even amidst all that, you know, you have, again, slutty teenagers getting killed, you know, either slutty or they're doing drugs, and there's a mix of everything going on. But I mean, there were just maybe a few that was like, oh, why'd you kill them? They weren't that bad. But, you know, they're in Jason territory, so they're going to get killed. But still, there was like maybe one, there was like a geeky guy, it's like, oh. And there was a girl that wanted to impress a guy, it's like, oh, why'd you kill them? Why'd you kill her? But, you know, it's what happens, you know. So, like, if you're near Jason, he's going to kill you, type of thing. But, you know, I wasn't that invested in the characters, but it's like, oh, they were nice, type of thing. But yeah, I really liked Friday the 13th Part 7, The New Blood, as it's called. I tried watching Jason Takes Manhattan, but I couldn't really get into it. It was kind of a slow build-up as to how they bring Jason back to life. I was like, I don't even think I made it past his resurrection, or whatever. Oh, excuse me. So I don't know. I may eventually see the rest of those. I don't know. I may try. I may not. I don't know yet. But I'm going to try to bundle those all up in another video. This one, I don't know what I'm going to call this one. Probably just a bunch of movies. I don't know yet. I talked about a bunch of movies. But yeah, that's basically it. So until next time.